Hi. Today I'm going to be planting strawberries. I'm putting them in these containers, which I found at the Dollar Tree last year. So this was $1 and these are stackable. So like, how great is that? It's a great find for $1. So I'm gonna plant my strawberries in here this year. Next year I'll plan to build the strawberry raised bed. So I got a bag of 10 strawberry roots. And you can see like they're already growing in the bag. And since I noticed that a couple days ago, I ripped the bag open and I put it outside in a bucket with just a little bit of water because I didn't want them to grow in a closed bag and start getting moldy and diseased. So I ripped it open so they can get some airflow and some sunlight until I was ready to plant. And let me put this here. And it's pretty cold outside, so luckily for me, I don't really have to be out in this cold. I can just do it right here in my kitchen. So when you buy strawberry roots, they'll usually just be, looks like a bunch of dirt and roots clumped together and held together with a rubber band. Let's cut this rubber band off. There are several, there are so many varieties of strawberries. These, I don't even remember where I put the paper. I don't know what variety they are, but I know these are ever-bearing strawberries. What that basically means, usually there's ever-bearing and June-bearing. So ever-bearing, they'll just keep providing strawberries for a couple months throughout the season. With June-bearing, as the name implies, you'll get the strawberries in June. In my experience, June-bearing strawberries tend to be bigger than the ever-bearing. But so basically, you want to try to separate the roots without damaging whatever growth is already happening here. Let me pinch this leaf off. It's so weird. So there should be 10 roots. It's like $4 for like 10. So that's 1, 2, 3. There's another rubber band in here. I'm gonna snip off. Okay, 3. Let's just pull these apart. 4. So far they all have growth. 4. Ooh. 5. This is the first time I bought a bag where I had so much growth in there. 5. Okay, I think this is 2. Yep. Very gentle, okay. 6, 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay. So I have 10 separate strawberry roots. Now I can get rid of this rubber band. So they did not rip me off this year. That's always good. Let me get a cup or something. Okay. So I have this bag of soil. This is what? Natural and organic planting soil for tomatoes and vegetables. So realize this was a brand new bed, so that's perfect. I don't know why I bothered with gardening gloves. I always want to wear them and then I end up just filthy. Let me try them. I try not to be a mess and just always get my hands dirty and muddy. So it is what it is. Nature of the beast, right? If you don't like getting your hands dirty, gardening might not be for you, right? Okay. So I am just gonna put some soil in here. I think my biggest concern right now is finding a place to put this where my dogs won't knock over my little tomato tower. I'm kind of excited to see how these grow because I've never used these before and I've never planted strawberries. Do I keep saying tomatoes? Yeah, I've never planted strawberries in a container, but you can grow anything in a container. You can grow trees in containers if you want to, honestly. So I'm sure they'll do fine. But I think next year I'm gonna have an 8-foot by 4-foot raised garden bed just for the strawberries, and they tend to spread pretty well. So I'll probably just start off with about 20 roots and then let it just naturally take its course. Okay, so just put some soil in there. And I'm gonna just make a little hole with my fingers and get this all the way down in there. You want the roots covered, you want it deep enough to hold the plant. And gently firm it down around the top. Yeah, it's April and it is so cold and rainy and windy. So I am so glad that I don't really have to be out there this morning. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm only gonna put one plant in each of these 3 sections. I think this is gonna be really cool. So ever bearing, I should be getting strawberries for a good couple months. And these are huge roots. These would do really well in a raised bed, but no time for that this year. Yeah, my intention is not to have my entire yard as one big garden. It's not my intention. We'll see if I stick to it, but I really just want maybe about 8 raised beds, and then the rest, you know, play area for the dogs, the kids, barbecues, guests. You know how it is. Got to think of the family too. It's not all about me. Because if it was all about me, trust me, the whole yard would be just covered in raised beds and fruit trees and grapevines and yeah. But, so I'm just adding some more soil, firm it around. It's nice and snug, it's not gonna move. There we go, that's the first one. So then the second one, okay. So you see how they're fine, they'll just keep growing out this way. No need to stack it right now though. I'll put this to the side and I'll start another one. So I'll do one more. This is gonna be 4 of these high. Well, maybe I could just do 3 high because I'll do 1, 2, 3, and then 1 more right in the middle. If not, I'm just gonna have like 2 empty spaces. I don't know if you can hear the wind, but yeah, the wind is like whistling outside. And I love strawberries. These strawberries is another one of the things that you can plant that will just keep growing year after year. Another once and done thing. So that's why if you plant a strawberry bed, you won't really have to keep replanting strawberries every year because they will just come back year after year after year. And they spread. That's something you should be aware of because don't think that you're gonna grow other things in your strawberry bed because they will take over and they get really dense. So you may have to thin them out, which I've had to do a couple times over the years when I had a strawberry bed at my other place, because it just became like so dense with strawberries. It was just not healthy, I think, for the plants. So I'll do one, I'll grab this one. Yeah, you can grow strawberries in hanging pots and raised beds directly in the ground. The biggest trouble I had with strawberries was slugs. Slugs really liked strawberries. And I'm not gonna lie, I almost stopped growing strawberries because I was scared that I was gonna bite into one and there was gonna be half a slug in there. Because it's just so I was always eyeballing the strawberries. If there was a tiny little hole in there, I would just throw them out, and I was just so paranoid and I had a hard time. But there are a couple ways you can control slugs. One of the things that I was doing at my other place is eggshells. So I would save all my eggshells and crumple them up, and then I would sprinkle crushed eggshells all around my strawberry beds. And slugs do not like crawling across crushed eggshells because they're very sharp, very jagged, and they have like those gross little sluggy soft bodies. Ugh. Ugh. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is, and I've done this as well, is I hammered copper all around the top of my raised bed. So when the slugs were crawling up the raised bed, the side of it, and about to crawl over the top, they would hit that copper wire and it would give them a shock. There's some kind of chemical reaction between the slug's sliminess and the copper that gives them a shock. So that's another thing you can consider doing. So I don't know how much of a problem slugs will be with these. It's probably still gonna be a problem because this is nice and smooth, nothing jagged or uncomfortable, and they can just crawl up and in here. But wherever I put this, maybe I will sprinkle crushed eggshells around the strawberry plants themselves and around here. I have plenty, so. So look, that's how that's looking so far. do the last one. Why not? So, thinking I might put it by the grill on the stone patio thing I have out there. Not 100% sure. But I did slap together a little mini greenhouse. And with it being so cold, maybe I'll put these in the greenhouse for a couple weeks. Look at these roots, my goodness. I almost feel bad that I'm like squishing them in this little pot, but you know what? They'll be fine. I'll put this one right in the middle. Look at that. This is so cool. $1, people. I mean, I bought a whole bunch of these last year at the Dollar Tree. I was busy moving, so I didn't have time to use these, but when I saw them, I couldn't pass it up or risk that they weren't gonna have them the next year. These are not cheap. If you go try to find these stackable pots in other places, they they charge a lot more than $1. I guarantee you that. So this is incredible. I'm really pleasantly surprised and impressed by how this is fitting in here. Really. Look how great. Okay. Tuck it in. And since we're inside, I'm not gonna water these. I don't need these to get heavy or leak all over my counters and floors. But, okay, let's look at what it's going to look like. Ta-da! Strawberry tower. 10 strawberry plants in this small space. And as long as the sun, and I have great sun in my yard, it's just direct sun. They should all get plenty of sun on all sides and grow just fine. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take these outside, give them a nice, good, thorough soak, and then I'm gonna just place them in the greenhouse so they don't get like super cold. And that's it.